You got into the trades to build a good life, but somewhere along the way, you ended up working longer hours, dealing with more stress, and still wondering why the profit never seems to match the effort. You're busy, you're booked out, and yet it still feels like you're working for free. If you're a plumbing, heating, or cooling contractor who wants more than just work, if you want real margin, stability, and a business that actually works, this conversation is for you. Today, I'm sitting down with Ken Smith, the incoming National President for PHCC, and someone who started in the trades as a tech and worked his way into leadership across large multi-state operations. Ken has spent decades in this industry, and he's seen exactly why some contractors get traction and others stay stuck.
At the end of the day, it's not about making money, it's about purpose.
And that mindset, purpose first, is what changes how you lead, how you grow, and how you finally stop giving your time away for free.
It's not super sexy, but it's incredibly stable.
In this episode, we talk about what's possible in the trades right now, what actually creates upward momentum for contractors, and how discipline, standards, and involvement beyond your own shop can change the future of your business. If you're tired of spinning your wheels and you're ready to turn effort into traction, let's get into it. Ken Smith, welcome to the Trade Traction Podcast here at the PHCC Connect Show.
We really know how to close this thing down, don't we? Like we're getting it done up in here.
We're like the last people here. They're tearing up the carpet, and here we are making this happen.
You're becoming the hardest working man in show business.
Absolutely, absolutely. It sure feels that way.
Burning the midnight oil. So
absolutely. So Ken, you are what's your official title again? Incoming
president. Yes.
Incoming president.
National PHCC.
PHCC. That's why I wanted to be here. So Trade Traction, I try to help apprentices, techs, business owners stop spinning their wheels and get traction in the trades.
Great. Yeah.
And you've had traction in the trades for a while. You've done well.
Yeah. Trade's been very good to me, and there's a tremendous opportunity. And I think more so than ever now, the tides have kind of turned in a positive direction with not only the public opinion of the trades and desires to, see it as a real alternative, not a second choice. Oh, I'm not going to college. I'm going to, so it's exciting, where there's more work than can be done, currently. So,
which is a beautiful thing.
Well, it's a good challenge to face. I mean, and people power has always been the challenge. Over my 34 plus years,
right?
It's always people, getting the right people, getting people engaged, getting them trained up, and then expanding with them, that abundance mentality, where we, like with PHCC, there's that abundance mentality to share the pie, if you will. Let's grow the pie together, and everybody's piece gets bigger.
Right. I love that. So did you start out as an apprentice?
I started out as in HVAC.
In HVAC.
I was in HVAC maintenance.
Okay.
I was doing maintenance work, and
At what age?
small, 22-ish after I got out of college.
Okay. Did you ever think you're going to be president of PHCC? How does that happen?
I mean, just get involved, and people ask you to do some stuff, you keep doing it, and it's like anything. You rise, with what you're good at, and where there's a need. That's the beauty of our industry, is there's tremendous need.
Yes. So you just say, that's how I'm here. I say yes to opportunities.
There's tremendous need, and the opportunities just keep coming. You just gotta, get your professional act together, so to speak, and and get out there and get it done. And you let your reputation and what you build expand it.
Right.
Because as many texts as you can put out there, pretty much you can get calls for.
Yes.
I mean, at least in the current environment. I wish I was like stretching the limits of imagination here with what the market potential can be.
Yeah, right. So as an apprentice, how did you what did you do to move up through the ranks like you did? Like what are some things that you did that you would do again?
Just take advantage of opportunity and always do your best. I've always been a information hound, try to learn. You're always learning. You're always trying to get better every day at something that you're doing that's worthy of your, focus.
Right. How did you learn? Like, how do you, like, besides doing the work, like, what were some?
Just, training, ride-alongs, watching other people do it. Because back then we didn't have YouTube videos, and
this is incredible, isn't it? Nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to learn. You learned all the basic stuff. Now, I was a motorcycle mechanic back in high school and working through college, so I had some mechanical ability, but frankly, I don't think I'd ever looked at a furnace twice before I started working in the trade 34 years ago, and just absorbed everything there was to know about it. It was fascinating. I like mechanical stuff, so it's fascinating getting involved in it.
Yeah, one of my last hires before I sold my company was a Harley Davidson service manager mechanic. Like, he was a master mechanic and was a service manager, and had been doing it for like 25 years and said, I want to do something different. But I kind of bet on him because he's so mechanical. And so it took him 3 years. It took him like a year and a half to get into a truck. And he's just rocking the world. He's doing so awesome.
Bet he is. I mean, yeah, working on bikes is a lot of fun, but, it's somewhat cyclical unless, again, working on snowmobiles and four-wheelers and lawnmowers. And
Right. So then did you get into service and sales?
Service, yeah, I was running residential service, sales, engineering jobs, overseeing the installations.
Right.
And then I took over a branch and had 5 people doing those sorts of things with me, and just kept moving up, and the company kept growing. So
awesome.
So some of it's timing, and some of it's just, making it happen.
Yeah.
We had a pretty successful model. It worked well.
Yeah. So you ended up being involved with a pretty large HVAC company.
Yes.
In Virginia.
Virginia, Maryland, all the way down to Florida. And we were multi-state, organic growth and then acquisition after that. But, it's all the same. It's take care of the customer, taking care of your craft, and, the opportunity's there. It's the beauty of the industry. It's not like you got to come in and get lucky or something to make a good, solid living. You just come in and take what you do seriously and yourself seriously, and you'll go far.
Yeah. Yeah. And the opportunity keeps, I think a lot of young, one thing I'm really trying to hit home is like a lot of parents are not aspiring for their kid to be in the trades. And I think a lot of parents think that the trades are just a bunch of hard work and dirty work. And it's like, yes, it is to start with, but it doesn't have to stay that way forever. And like, we're all in the trades, and
it's a shame. I mean, to set such prejudicial imagery in their children's minds, but it's a societal image, and it's, I don't know, it's sad. I mean, I've got college education. I've been to college. I've spent 24 and a half years in college, but there's nothing wrong with working with your hands. Absolutely. And actually it's more advantageous holistically. The value's coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's just a misconception, that, you had to go to college to be somebody, and maybe what we measure success by is really the problem. It's, are you doing something that gives you control of your destiny? And can you make an honest, good living to take care of your family?
Right.
I mean, it's that simple. And clearly the trades currently offer that substantially over, the straight into college for 4 years, take a loan, come out with debt.
Yeah.
By the time somebody doing the same thing, same time frame, by the time that second student gets out of college with the debt, the other one has a house, 2 cars, a boat, a retirement savings started, maybe a family even,
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful thing. So
I was in at Skills USA this last year, and I think 3 or 4 of the young guys I interviewed, when I asked them what their 5-year goal was, every one of these, they're like 18 years old. They said, I want to start a family. I was kind of impressed with that. At 18 years old, that was their heart's desires.
well, it's a beautiful thing. I think we saw a seminar this morning on connection, and you know, having been around for a minute here and there, you know, things go in cycles. The old pendulum swings out and comes back, and you know, I think people, and young people in particular, because they're smart enough to see all the stuff for them, you know, they want connection back.
Yeah.
We need connection. We're a social creature, you know, and you know, isolation and being quarantined is not our thing, you know. But
For sure. You mentioned something about starting early. Like, everyone's talking about how much you make, but I've learned it's not how much I make, it's what I do with what I make. Like the liabilities just keep going up as much as you make, it just keeps. And so it's like, if we can get these kids to start a savings habit early and start investing early, by the time they're 40, it won't be how much you make, because their investments will be making more than they can make. Does that resonate?
of course, that's the most important thing, is the time factor.
Early, getting started early.
Getting started early.
Yeah.
You know, you know, it's also, that's a beautiful thing about the trades too, is that you have the freedom to really define what's going to make you happy and what you really want to do, you know, because at the end of the day, it's not about making money, it's about purpose. And I think you'll be much more successful if you're driving for a purpose, solve a problem, to fill a need, you know, passionate, you know, because that's where your heart's going to follow, and you're going to be happier. And in this business, you're going to make money. I mean, you're not, trust me.
Yeah.
I tell people, if you learn the trade and you keep your driving record straight and, you know, that sort of thing, you can get off an airplane anywhere in the world, in the, you know, civilized world. If you speak the language, you'll have a job before you know, step out of the airport. I mean,
Yes.
it's just,
Yes.
And that's, it's not super sexy, but it's incredibly stable.
The paychecks are sexy.
It's like the Mack truck, you know, not the sports car, but, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can haul a lot more stuff in a fully loaded 18-wheeler than you can a Ferrari, right?
Absolutely. So you mentioned something, the driving record. That is like so big that no one thinks about it, but especially these young apprentices, they get one ticket and it can really mess things up.
It's tough. I mean, you know, our partners and stuff in the insurance world, and that becomes a liability, you know, and a company has to, one, be able to get them on their policy, and 2, stomach the risk factors that come along with anything that's not, you know, crystal clean.
Yeah.
And at some point it can become, you know, a no-go situation where insurance companies just like this, or they say, yeah, we can cover this person, but, you know, it's 5 times what a normal policy would be. And see, what most people don't understand is, you know, we see our personal car insurance, like a young person, they get car insurance. They say it's expensive.
Yeah.
That's not commercial insurance.
Right.
It's about 5 times more. So you think that bill looks bad, you know, multiply that by 5 and then, you know, again by 0.5 because you got another ticket.
Yep. It's a big deal. I once had a kid that wanted to be a plumber. He wanted to work for me. He finally graduated. He's driving with his mom and dad to come work for me over the pass. He gets a ticket. He's with his mom and dad. He doesn't have any tickets, so they give him a ticket. He's like 18 years old. And my insurance wouldn't cover him. And it was like, it seemed like no big deal. He's with his mom and dad going 5 over or something, nothing big. But at 18 years old, it was a big deal. Like, my insurance didn't want him driving my big, heavy trucks with thousands of dollars of parts in it, right? And it affected his life, that one ticket. So now I really promote kids to like, you might have one ticket, but man, try to call an attorney or do something, because that will really mess up your life, especially when you're young, right? Us at our age, we can get a ticket. It won't really affect much, but
Yeah. I mean, and that's tough, discipline at a young age to, keep it in between the lines, we were all young at one time, did, some crazy stuff or wild stuff comparatively. But, but yeah, it's a serious business with the driving record, and it's just,
the other thing we noticed, this is just a little bit off topic, but we had so much less drama when we adhered to a strict driving record. Like, because I thought about it, like I don't really pay attention to the speed limit. I just drive all over the place and I never get a ticket. And so if I actually had 3 tickets, what would I have to do to get 3 tickets? Like I'd be a wild man out there. And so when we got strict about our driving record, the drama in our business went down. And then the profit went up.
Yeah, that is a little off topic from what we're talking about, but that's,
I'm just saying it's important.
Discipline's very important in running a business.
Yeah.
There's differing opinions on that, but
yeah,
you want it to be a fine oiled machine, and the only way that happens is that everybody operates at a level of expectation. So there's no guessing. I know what you're going to do because that's what you were taught to do, just like me. The same, so we're going to. So,
well, here's the way I tie it in though is I talk to companies that are struggling to grow and they have a bad opinion about young people. And when I figure out, well, what's their hiring practice? They're hiring guys with DUIs and they're just they're just hiring a rough driving record. And then they have a bad impression about young people. And it's like, well, why don't you hire people with a good driving record and see the difference? And so these guys are spinning their wheels, having a bad attitude about young people. And it's like, well, you're hiring people with bad driving records. Just fix that one thing and it can smooth things out for them.
Yeah, I haven't experienced as much of, but yeah, there's a tendency.
Well, we get desperate, right?
Well, I always see it as an opportunity because, again, in the market, if you're a good plumber and you've got a situation that's, enjoyable, you like the company you work for, you're running your own thing, you're not going anywhere.
No.
So normally when you're hiring, and it's not always the case, but you're kind of going through retreads with people with bad driving records that got fired from another company that may have some experience, but and that's what's, bad about it. If you're that person, is you got to get that driving record squared up so the ball's in your court where you're driving all the options versus seeing who will hire you and wait till the insurance company cancels you or whatever. But driving records are just ridiculously important.
No, we don't. It's not talked about enough, but it's huge.
Well, it's one of those things too. You can't really you can't reverse. Once it happens, even you learn a lesson, great, and you pay the tuition, but you just stalled.
Big time.
You stalled your progress by 6, 8, 12, 18 months. Goodness only knows, but
very cool. So let's jump to the other end. So president of PHCC, what's in the future? What do you see?
For me or PHCC?
For you and PHCC as president, like what's some ambitions?
Well, we're going to drive membership, and we are going to, meet people where they are and, reach, far and deep, and young people, everybody's welcome to come, learn about this and get involved. We're here to help. Wonderful profession. It's an honorable profession. And, I think the more you learn about it, the more you get excited about it because you can control your destiny. You don't, you work for somebody, you can start your own thing. You can, you can go into supplies, distributors, manufacturers. There's just, it's a big industry. It's a solid, steady industry.
100%.
I always tell the apprentice, pretty simple. What happens when your customer's toilet backs up on Thanksgiving and, company's coming over in about 3 hours?
Yeah, it gets fixed.
Say they write a check, and that dates myself, but
Yeah,
okay, they send you a Zelle.
Yeah, exactly.
But maybe they're not going on vacation that year or buying a second car, but they're going to take care of the house.
Yeah.
Air conditioning, in certain areas is, it's not an option anymore.
Yeah.
We've gotten quite spoiled as a society, and
Yeah.
That's the beauty. That's the beauty of what we do at PHCC. Is we've been protecting the nation forever. I mean, plumbers have saved more lives than every medical professional out there with, just bringing clean water and, the things that we take for granted in our society.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing, where you can actually do something for somebody that's meaningful. It's rewarding. It's one thing to make money. You can make money doing anything, but, something that's adding value, adding purpose for your existence there to help others.
Yeah. What I think, kind of the way I explain it is, we actually make money, Ken. We take $18 of parts and some tools in our mind, and we mix it all up, and they pay us $400.
I don't know anything about pricing, Dennis. I can't discuss any of that.
No, I'm just saying the idea of making money. Like, we actually make money. Like, we're not fixing price or nothing, but the idea that a lot of people get a paycheck automatic into their bank account, and they don't really know how it got there.
Right.
They put in time, but we actually know where the money came from. We mixed our parts with our intellect and our tools, and we actually make money, and we know where every dime comes from.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of running your own show, and doing it efficiently, the fun of perfection, like
Absolutely.
playing the ultimate game with all the details.
Absolutely. Well, Ken, I think we're going to get kicked out if we don't quit, so we better go.
Yeah, they're tearing the place down around us. I thought I was going to bring my hard hat in here.
Yeah, I know. I kind of feel comfortable. Like, why don't we just hang out?
I feel like I'm sitting in the middle of like a tarmac at JFK out and, planes buzzing by. And like,
you are.
I am.
Yeah. Thanks for being on, Ken.
Dennis.
If this conversation resonated with you, here's the most important takeaway. You don't have to figure this out alone. One of the fastest ways to stop working for free and start building the business you once imagined is to surround yourself with people who are committed to professionalism, growth, and doing this trade the right way. That's why I encourage you to connect with your local PHCC association and get involved. The relationships, the education, and perspective you gain can absolutely change the trajectory of your business. And if you want to take that even further, make plans now to attend PHCC Connect in Milwaukee, happening October 19th through the 22nd. That's where the industry comes together to learn, connect, and move forward. And if this episode brought you value, like the show, subscribe to Trade Traction, and share it with someone in the trades who's ready for more. Because traction doesn't come from working harder. It comes from working smarter together.